We're back with another ranking. Um, yeah, I just thought maybe I do two rankings this week. Really have a whole lot to do, but really not really. I have multitasked a little bit here to get these done. This episode of Ranked will be Dying Fetus, the brutal death metal. As you know, we're going with all different kinds of death metal for Death Metal Month. We got we did Swedish death metal with Arch Enemy. We're gonna be doing folk death metal, um, uh, American death metal, and British death metal coming up. So we have three more rankings this month. I already have which bands I'm gonna do picked out, but yeah, Dying Fetus has made history on this channel. Um, they have 8 studio albums, and they all ranked higher than 9s. Actually, they all ranked higher than 9s. They're not all 10s, but they've ranked higher than 9s. It means 9.1 and above. To start it out, number 8, we're going to go with Destroying the Opposition. I accidentally pulled up the wrong one. Destroy the Opposition from 2000. Oh, when you try to pick a Dying Fetus album, you try to go with brutal, insane, in your face, ear melting. They are known as in my opinion, one of the most brutal death metal bands in existence. I've liked them since the start of my journey in death metal. Not the album I would go with, but for this ranking I had to listen to it. It scored a 9.1 out of 10. It's not bad. Probably the best song on here is Pissing in the Mainstream or Justifiable Homicide. Either one of those two songs is probably the greatest songs on this album. The album just keeps hitting you like unrelenting, just like this band loves to do. They have done 8 studio albums that when you listen to them, you can't help but headbang. You can't help but headbang. You probably want to destroy shit too once you are listening to it. It's great. It's great stuff. I love it, and that's why all of them are 9.1s or better. That brings us to number 7, or their first studio album, I think 1996, with Purification Through Violence. Where to get with this one? Songs like Skullfucked and Blunt Force Trauma, Raped on the Altar, Permanently Disfigured, and Scum, Fuck the Weak, which is a Napalm Death cover, which I do like Napalm Death as well. Great stuff. This album is exactly along the lines of the other albums. Just not as clean production, kind of more on the grim side of facts, the kind of really poor production vocals, but the guitars have a real good pop to them. I really do like that. That's another thing I like. The long carry-on, drawn-out riffs. Oh, I just love it. I love this band. And let's go to number 6. Number 6 is War of Attrition, 2005. Where to get started with this one? Raping the System. Let's get started with that song. Obsolete Deterrence. Parasites of Catastrophe. Great stuff. Unadulterated Hatred. Homicidal Retribution starts the album off nicely. This album is the same as every other album. Brutally fast and in your face. Just how I like Dying Fetus. Yeah. War of Attrition at number 6. And let's move on to number 5. Number 5 is another one I have a copy of. Stop at Nothing from 2003. One shot, one kill, a classic. Abandon all hope. Forced elimination. Stop at Nothing. Onslaught of Malice. Vengeance Unleashed. Great stuff. Great stuff to start the great stuff all the way through the album. There's nothing bad on it. War of Attrition scored a 9.4 out of 10. This one scored a 9.6 out of 10. So they keep getting higher. I'm going to show you the inside of the CD. Cool stuff. Then we move on. Wrong One to Fuck With at number 4. Their newest one. Panic Amongst the Herd. Fixated on Devastation. Fallacy. Weaken the Structure. Wrong One to Fuck With, the title track. Revealing in the Abyss. Die with Integrity. Great stuff all the way through. Nothing is bad on this album. And there is, I think it's a Possessed cover. I'm not too sure. How do you recognize the song name from Possessed, the band Possessed? So yeah, same thing with the other ones, but this one has a little more melodic sense to it. The solos are kind of like not as like sweet picky, but they are sweet picky too. But yeah, different style, a little bit different flavor to this album. Really do like it. Then we have one I don't have, and it's a shame that I don't have this one because I really do like it. This is a Wrong One to Fuck With was a 9.8 out of 10. Reign Supreme coming in at number 3 is a 10 out of 10. The first 10 out of 10. Oh, my favorite one on here, From Womb to Waist, In the Trenches. Second Skin, Subjected to a Beating, Invert the Idols. Dissidents, Devout Atrocity. Anything on here is worth listening to. This band is worth listening to. It's worth trying to get into this band. It's very hard to. If you're just starting out with death metal, I'd recommend you go with something like more of a Morbid Angel or something like Enziferum. And yeah, that brings in Enziferum. We're gonna do that next ranking. Spoiler. Number 2. The great number 2. We're going to put this album at number 2. Descend into Depravity. Their not mainstay one. The one that's coming up is the mainstay one. Your Treachery Will Die With You. The classic one that everybody gets started with. Shepherd's Commandment. Awesome riffs in this song. Hopeless Insurrection. Great stuff. Conceived in Enslavement. Into Enslavement. Great. Atrocities by Nature. Another one that's great. Descend into Depravity. One of the most hard-hitting title tracks I've ever heard on an album. At What Expense? Hell yeah. And Ethos of Coercion. Great stuff. Hard-hitting all the way through. A little bit quiet on the CD, though. That's my only gripe about this one. So you could see the promotional ad inside of it. Always like to keep those in there just for a little bit of stuff to read while I listen to music. And that brings us to number 1, or my favorite one. And this will always be my favorite one. It's on the top death metal. My picks for top death metal, not the ones I did the other time, which was my picks, but it was more mainstream. Killing on Adrenaline. Holy shit, is this album heavy and fast. But it's so just nasty. It just, the guitars and vocals are just so nasty. It's like grindcore almost. Killing on Adrenaline is a great track. Procreate the Malformed. Fornication Terrorists. We Are Your Enemy. Great song, by the way. Kill Your Mother, Rape Your Dog. Classic. If you were into death metal at that time period, you probably seen the video of that on MTV when it was back then. I wasn't around, but I know a few people that were. Absolute Defiance, Judgment Day, and Intentional Manslaughter. This is by far their most perfect album. There's no other album more perfect than this one that you could listen to, but it's not as easy to get into for starter listeners to this band. To kind of be into this band for a while to get into their older stuff. So yeah, that's how I rank Dying Fetus. Hope you guys liked it, and I'm going to actually end the video and not do a whole discussion phase. Yeah, hit the like, subscribe, and follow my social medias, and this video is finally over.